What is up, everybody? So you might be getting into prepping. Maybe you're new to it. Maybe you've been prepping for a little while and kind of starting to build plans and things like that. A lot of people come across the idea of bugging out. It's a very popular phrase when it comes to prepping. And it's even kind of gotten into media and Hollywood a little bit. For instance, the show / movie Homestead, there's a little emphasis on a bug out bag and things like that. So I'm going to go over some different things on why maybe you should and why maybe you shouldn't do a bug out plan. Alright, what is up, everybody? How are you doing? Thanks for checking out this video. Thanks for checking out the channel. I encourage you to check out the channel, see some of my other videos. If you like some of the stuff that I do, hit that subscribe button. That'd be pretty cool. Any support's appreciated. Now, when it comes to bugging out, there's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of people that put a lot of emphasis on the whole bug out situation. Now, you got to consider certain things, especially if you're going to invest hard work and money you worked hard for into something like that. Every penny has to go towards a purpose when it comes to prepping. I don't put a lot of emphasis on a bug out bag. Why? I don't plan on bugging out. So, kind of talk about some of the good things and bad things. Some of the good things about bugging out: it's a good idea, especially if you're in a populated area, if you're living in a city, especially something like New York or Boston, LA, Phoenix, Vegas, any of those big cities. It might just be a good idea to get out of Dodge. Now, you're going to have to judge it. You're going to have to make one of the most important decisions of your life at that time, to bug out or not to bug out. In some situations, you might die if you stay. In that case, bugging out is going to be a good thing. It's going to get you out of the situation, out of danger, pose other dangers, but it's going to get you out of a dangerous situation. For instance, if a terrorist group takes over a city, cartel are known to be coming in your direction. Pick your situation. If you've thought about a bug out bag, you've thought of the different situations on why you need to bug out. So getting to a bug out location, it might not be that hard. It might be extremely difficult. If you have a plan in place and you're able to execute on that plan to get to a bug out location, that's going to get you into a safe area. And hopefully you have some preps there. You have food, water, sustainable water, most importantly, and self-defense for that matter. You're going to have to be able to get to that place, check up on your supplies, make sure your place hasn't been broken into, or if you're going to be going out more on a survivalist type bug out, you got to make sure that you have your land very well known and you'll be able to live out there on the land. Now, I highly suggest, if you are doing a bug out plan, to have a community involved. Have multiple people involved with it. And if you have those things, you can definitely make it a successful choice. And it can be most definitely better than staying in some situations. Now, for the bads, basically, I know there's a lot of people that get into prepping. Some of the very first things that get an interest into preparedness and survival and stuff like that is TV shows. Survivor Man, Lone Survivor, Alone, all these different things. And you might think, yeah, I can do that. That's going to be my plan to get away from everything. Now, I will say with my own confidence, to where if SHTF happens, you're in a city, you're on the outskirts of a city, suburbia, something like that, and you make that decision to say now is the time to bug out. Grab your bag, grab a couple other utensils or whatever you need, and go out and hit the road. Now, if you do that and you're on your own, you're probably going to die. Probably fairly quickly. If you don't have support from other people to help out with medical things and all this other stuff, you're probably gonna die. You ain't gonna make it. You're not going to. Now, a lot of people want to compare themselves to some of these TV shows. All these TV shows are scripted. All these TV shows have people around them. They have medical teams, they have food, they have all these things to make sure that they do not get sued. Now, Survivor Man was about the only one that I saw, and it might even have been scripted, but for some reason I believed him, that he went out with him, his camera, a whole backpack full of batteries and a little bit of camera gear, tripods, and filmed the whole show on his own. He was only out there for a couple days though. I think maybe a week on one of his shows, but it's been a while since I've seen that show. Now, if you want to compare yourself to doing what these people do, you're probably going to die. A lot of the people that are going to be able to survive successfully in a bug out situation are people that have put it to test a lot. They have trained for years or decades on this exact situation. Now, if you don't have that, even if you go out and you practice for a couple days out camping and you do nothing but a ferro rod and you try to minimalize all the gear that you have for survival, you ain't gonna make it. If you train day in, day out for a very long time, you can make it happen. Now, something that you can counteract that with is having people, having a plan. If you're gonna bug out, have a very, very solid plan. And that is going to be where you're gonna be going. Is it going to be a cabin? Is it going to be a house? Are you going to be going out in tents, tarps, a trailer that you're pulling behind your vehicle, an overlanding rig? What are you going to be doing? You have to absolutely have a plan in place. Now, if it comes down to where your neighbors are getting shot, things are happening and it's getting close and it's closing in on you, and you just go and grab yourself a backpack and a rifle, say, I'm hitting the road, I'm bugging out, it ain't gonna work for you. But if you have people together, if you have 10, 15, 20 people that are all on the same page, they're all on your team, whether you're gonna be able to trust them or not is gonna be up to you. Whether or not you have that is going to be a deciding factor of survival, whether you're gonna be able to live through a situation. I don't see being able to do it with one or two people. But if you have a small community and a location, let's say a cabin suitable to be able to hold 20 people without strangling each other after a few days, because that's going to happen too. But if you have those things, it can definitely work for you. Now, another thing is, as far as that location, you're going to have preparation up to that point, or it ain't going to work. You're going to have to, like right now, it is March, the middle of March, coming up towards the end of March. If I had a bug out location, I would be out there almost every single day, tending to a garden, tending to my animals, making sure the property's upkept, making sure your security's in place and all these different things that you're gonna that you're gonna have in a plan when you do in fact bug out. If you are not doing that, you ain't gonna make it. Now, you can't just go out to a location, let's just say October, and really expect to thrive or survive even. Because you're going to get up there, you're going to have your dry storage, whether it's canned food, freeze-dried food, whatever you have, canned stuff that you did from your garden, and you have this all stockpiled. How long is that going to last? Because that's all you got. So I know for 6 months and a couple people, that could almost fill a small cabin just on supplies. So if you are planning that and you do have a bug out location, how stocked up is it? I mean, you should probably have almost all of your preps there. Now that's going to come to another thing is the security of when you're not there. You have that all stocked up with preps. You might show up one day and none of it's going to be there. Especially if somebody's eyeballing you. You'd be surprised on how many people watch, even if you're going out into the middle of nowhere. There might be just somebody sitting up on a hill taking a break from a hike, and they're going to be able to watch your whole trail and all that kind of stuff, and you can be found. So if you're planning on disappearing completely, that ain't gonna happen either. There are in fact places in this country where you can disappear. Trust me, I've been there. Is that your bug out location? Do you already live in that area? Are you gonna be able to drive 900, 1900 miles to get to your location? You know, kind of like that movie Homestead touched on, is they had a long travel time to get to that homestead. It took them days to get there. You have to kind of keep that in mind. What's your travel time going to be? How many SHTF, mini SHTFs are going to happen within that journey? There's potential for a lot, and it might go smooth. But definitely have a plan. You know, I mean, for me, if I was to bug out, I would have all this stuff in place. Definitely the upkeep, but also if you are going to have a lot of people, how is that going to go? Are these people that you really trust? Family that you've grown up with and been around your whole life, to where you already know and you can predict the personalities of these different people, whether they're going to be a problem or not. Are they friends, co-workers? Are they people that you think you can trust? The truth will come out in this situation. It might not be a good outcome. So I just want to kind of touch on this, that there's always a lot of talk about bugging out, especially people that don't prep talk about bugging out. Most people that get into prepping get the idea from somewhere. Yes, they might think, okay, the economy's going to hell, this whole world's going to hell, I need to do something, I need to look into it. I remember so-and-so talking about prepping. Let me go watch that again and maybe see. And you're going to get a lot of bad information. Once you get that in your mind, when you start searching and researching for ideas, you're already narrow-minded in a certain direction. And it might branch out later, but you're starting out as bugging out. I say just be careful with that, because there's a very, very high chance that you're not going to make it. Some people, very few people, will be able to successfully bug out into the woods on their own, survival mode, big old Rambo knife, and sit there and eat boar hearts for dinner every night because you're just that much of a badass. But I'm not that way. Most of you guys aren't that way, and anybody that might be coming across this video, I'm going to put my money to say you are just not that good. Sure, there's survival techniques. Sure, you can start a fire on wet wood and you can do all these different things. But it's going to be a complete different game when you don't have a security blanket to fall back on. Yes, definitely think strongly if you're deciding to bug out. Think about every situation that you can come across. Think about your plan. Think about the execution of the plan. Definitely make sure you have an extremely solid plan together to survive, if that is your choice. If you decide to leave the security of your home, if you decide to leave people that are around you that you might know, to leave supplies and the potential of getting supplies behind you, head out to the woods, head out to a cabin. Make sure you're going to be able to live. Make sure you're going to be able to do it. And to even have a chance at that, you got to hit the ground running. So you're going to have everything in place, water catchment in place, have the living conditions ready to go from day one. Because if you don't and you start stumbling over stuff, you're probably going to die. So something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind. A lot of people talk about bugging out, and personally, I'm not really game for it. Could there be a chance I could bug out? Yeah. Could there be a situation that comes my way to where I need to give a last ditch Hail Mary to go survive for a week and maybe I'll make it? Or die tonight by getting shot by some people trying to come in and steal my stuff, or whatever the situation may be. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. I have a feeling I just, and it's a little bit of a cliche, I'd rather go down in a blaze of glory in my own house than try to run out and be a hero out there. But that's just me. That's just me. And maybe I'll make a video on bugging in, some of the pros and cons on that. But wanted to give you a little food for thought on if you're thinking about doing a bug out, if you're thinking about a bug out bag in a bug out plan. How prepared are you? Have you practiced it? Have you run drills with it or anything like that? Make sure you're ready today. If you're not, start getting ready for that to go into action. So thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. I am going to close it with that. I might be coming out with a bug in pro and con. I might not have hit on everything I wanted to hit on, but hey, I'm just talking. I'm just a dude in my garage, So with that, I will leave it and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.